We are live. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Blake Ruffino. This is Are You Serious Sports? We hope that you guys are making it a good one. We know that we are as well. Huge show in store for you tonight. Ruffino's Rants Dog Hell and Rain Fire is about to rain down on tonight's show. If you missed it, AYS is going to send down the brimstone like it's Sodom and Gomorrah in this thing. Irish Breakdown's own Bryan Driscoll, who covers Notre Dame, went on Crane and Company this morning and had some very choice words for our new head coach, a guy that he's been covering since 2010. We're going to let you hear that today. We got the audio. We got the video. Shout out to our producer, Pooh Bear, for putting it all together. But I will tell you this tonight, no Irish fan is safe in this show. No one is safe. You want to start calling people out? You want to go on a platform? You want to start calling people out? Sounds good. You want to call me a clown? That's when the gloves come off. I didn't say anything relatively bad about you, and you're absolutely, positively shitty-ass take. It was so bad that I just kind of have to laugh at him. What an idiot. You will receive the same treatment that you gave me earlier today. You will receive it here tonight. And as Pooh Bear says, if you want to talk stuff, you want to run your mouth, if you want some gangsters in front of your house, and I'm not talking about like street corner gangsters, like, I'm talking about the real gangsters. Ain't nobody as cold as me. I'm just so fresh and so clean. Those type of gangsters. Michael Corleone. I know it was you, Fredo. I know it was you. You want Tony Soprano in front of your house, keep calling people clowns. By the way, to all of you LSU fans, apparently Notre Dame's fan base and media says Brian Kelly can't come to LSU and win a national title. You best believe we will get into that tonight. For those of you who did not see it, we will play that audio and video for you here tonight. Jordan says, don't spend another moment on that cockroach. Oh, we're going to spend a moment on him. That's how we're leading off the show. With his John Goodman looking head ass. Pooh Bear says, only on AYS can you go from The Wire to The Godfather with a flawless transition. Absolutely. Absolutely. We can go from The Godfather, Pooh Bear, to Tony Montana. Tony Montana was a real gangster, man. I ain't playing with no Tony Montana. You want to come at me, man? You want to come at me? I got the coca beans right here. You want to kiss my sister? I put 85 bullets in your chest. That's what Tony Montana would say. Not me. Don't spend another minute on this cockroaches. I got you. I'm feeling you. Okay. So we will talk about Bryan Driscoll here tonight and the absolutely stupid thing he said earlier today on Crane and Company. LSU's gaining confidence, going through the roof offensively, talking to some people on the coaching staff and some of the players here today. I'm going to share some of those briefly, some of those conversations and the confidence that they're gaining on that side of the ball. TJ Pittinger, our good friend over at Double Fries No Slaw, who covers Florida State, will be joining us at 7:30. Looking forward to talking to him about Florida State as they have a game against Duquesne later this week. Saturday at 5 p.m. against Duquesne. So we'll be talking to him. How are the Seminoles looking? And we'll do a hashtag Ask Blake at the end if we have time. So since we do have a lot to get into, let's do this. I'll come and hit the comments in just a little bit after the Rufino's rants. But everybody do us a favor. Stop, collaborate, and listen. I've said it every night. I'm going to say it until the giveaway is done. If you share all the shows for this week, whether it be on Facebook, YouTube, whatever it may be, if you share them to either your platform or a Facebook group, we will put you in a drawing for 2 AYS shirts and $100 cold, hard cash. Cold, hard cash. So, everybody stop, hit the share, all that good stuff. Share to all those Facebook groups. If you're on YouTube, share to Twitter, Facebook, Insta, all that good stuff. We greatly, greatly appreciate it. If you're listening to us on XM Radio or you're listening to us on the TuneIn app, rate, review, subscribe, all that good stuff as well. And don't forget to go over to our message board. We'll be putting a write-up in there tomorrow. AYSSnetwork.com/forum. That's AYSSnetwork.com/forum. We greatly, greatly appreciate it. Okay, so since we have a lot to get into and especially have to talk about Bryan Driscoll, let's pay these bills, guys. We'll be back in a minute 30. We will let you hear what he said as soon as we return. So let's get out of here, or let's get in here and pay these bills. And the Rufino's rants is right around the corner. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way for you to wager on all of your favorite sports, contests, events with the first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews for all the news for each league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, college sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all of your sports information for live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head on over to BetOnline today and use your mobile device to join and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BELIEVE50, that's BELIEVE50, BLEAV50, to receive your 50% off welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's betonline.ag, betonline.ag. With over 65 years of experience, nobody is better equipped to service in your vehicle than GM Vardo & Sons. RV repair, big rig overhauls, motorhome chassis, routine maintenance, tire rotations, tire sales. No job is too big or too small over at GM. If you break down the side of the road in the greater Baton Rouge area, they will come and get you. And the best thing about that is that they can come and get you, and then they can bring your vehicle back to their shop and start the repairs right then. Again, GM Varno & Sons. Go see them over at 2500 Fuller Boulevard. Give them a call at 225-664-9992. 225-664-9992. Tell them your good friend Blake Rufino sent you on by. Okay, so let's do this. If you missed it today, I'm going to give you a little bit of a rundown, and then we're going to play the video. Let's get this thing started, y'all. Let's get this thing started, y'all. But Bryan Driscoll, who covers Notre Dame for Irish Breakdown, today came out and was on Crane and Company. It was either this morning or last night. I don't really remember. I wasn't listening to the segment live or anything like that. But Bryan Driscoll or Crane and Company did clip it. They put it on Twitter, and obviously they tagged us. And it started pretty much David Cohn, who's one of the co-hosts, broke LSU Twitter today, which is okay. But Bryan Driscoll, who's known Brian Kelly since 2010, who's covered Brian Kelly since 2010, had some very choice words and really and truthfully some really just idiotic, like very bitter words to say about Brian Kelly. Then he would go out on Twitter when we argued with him, not argued, but challenged what he had said. And he tried to talk about how he lived in the South, so he knows the South. Buddy, you don't know the South. You're not from here. Just because you think salt and pepper is spicy on your grilled chicken doesn't mean you've lived in the South. Don't talk about LSU if you don't know about them. That's the bottom line. So what we're going to do right here, everybody's going to hit the like and share. And after you hit the like and share right now, let's do this. Let's play the clip from Crane and Company about Bryan Driscoll talking absolute garbage about Bryan Kelly?
Bryan Kelly, the winningest coach in Notre Dame history. He goes to Louisiana State. The last 3 head coaches for LSU have won national titles. Will Bryan Kelly win a national championship at LSU?
No, he won't. He won't recruit the way he needs to recruit. I don't think he's the coach he was at Grand Valley, the coach he was at Cincinnati. I think that guy is gone. I think he is look, Notre Dame wasn't lacking talent. Notre Dame lacked big game production because Bryan Kelly just didn't get those teams ready to play in big games. And I don't think that all of a sudden miraculously changes because he's now in Baton Rouge. I think Notre Dame fit more of his personality. It fit his recruiting base. The most southern place he'd ever coached before Notre Dame was Cincinnati. Notre Dame's the second most southern place he's ever coached. So I don't see the fit, to be honest with you. And, say that's sour grapes or the case may be. But honestly, guys, I was ready for Bryan Kelly to be done 2020 because I feel he had taken the program as far as he could. And I don't see him cleaning up that dumpster fire at LSU anytime soon.
Okay, so let's break all of this down. The first thing that Brian Driscoll said is he started talking about recruiting. Well, the last time I checked, the whatever consensus on 3, and you guys who have watched the show know, I don't know and understand the consensus, the rankings, all that kind of stuff. But the last time I went on 3, LSU was ahead of Notre Dame in recruiting. Wait, so how does Bryan Kelly not going to recruit in the South well and fit well when he's got a better recruiting class than you right now? If you don't want to talk about right now because there's such a very long time until December when the first signing day happens, sounds good. Let's wait, because on September the 1st and other guys that LSU's going after, they're clearly going to be ahead of you because Bryan Kelly is doing great things inside the state of Louisiana. Guys like Lance Hurd's on the board. You get Shelton Sampson. You go out to Miami and get Jaylen Brown. You start getting a lot of big pieces from inside the state at running back with Trey Holly, with Caleb Jackson. You even start doing things nationally that LSU's never really done and going and getting 4 top 150 defensive linemen. We've never seen that in one class. Never at LSU have we seen something like that. So how is Bryan Kelly bad at recruiting? What's even more interesting is if we rewind, though, just a year ago, Bryan Kelly only had 6 weeks to start recruiting around the state of Louisiana when he had no staff around him, no coordinators around him. The offensive coordinator that he had was still coaching at the University of Cincinnati in the playoff, which, by the way, that same team beat Notre Dame a season ago. And you can blame that on Bryan Kelly all you want. Sounds good. But that same guy came here and LSU finished with a high school and portal class at number 6. I thought Bryan Kelly couldn't recruit. It's interesting. Is it that Bryan Kelly can't recruit, or is it that Notre Dame lacks the ability to be able to recruit like LSU? Because let me tell you something. Since 2010, these are some of the guys from the state of Louisiana that LSU got. And that Bryan Kelly will more than likely get players like this as well. Eric Reed, Tyrann Mathieu, Alfred Blue, Brad Wing, Odell Beckham, Trey Turner, Jarvis Landry, Terrence McGee, Loyal Collins, Jeremy Hill, Trey White, Devin White, Kendall Beckwith, Josh Booty, KJ Malone, Duke Riley. I threw Cyril Grayson in there because he's still catching touchdown passes from Tom Brady at Tampa. So why not? Leonard Fournette, Devin Godshaw, Will Clapp, Darrell Williams, DJ Chark, Russell Gage, Darius Geis, Dante Jackson, Foster Morrow, Christian Fulton, Rashard Lawrence. I have Devin White in there twice. Lloyd Cushenberry, Tyler Shelvin, Grant Delpit, Ed Ingram. Here comes the big ones. Patrick Queen, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Justin Jefferson, Terrace Marshall, Kelvin Joseph, Jamar Chase, Dare Rosenthal, Derek freaking Stingley. You don't have that in Indiana, Brian. You haven't even you don't even remotely have the talent pool in Indiana like LSU does in Louisiana. It's better to recruit here. That's why they will beat you. That's why they have more natties than you in the last 20 years. It's because look at the talent that they get to keep home. Then Brian Driscoll would talk about that Notre Dame had the talent, but Brian Kelly was a bad recruiter. That is in and of itself a very idiotic comment. How do you have the talent when Brian Kelly can't recruit, and then you say he doesn't prepare them well enough? Buddy, you don't have Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson. You never have. You never will. In the new era of college football, Will Fuller and Chase Claypool can't hold the jock strap of Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson. No disrespect to those guys, but the truth is the truth. He would go on to say, and he said earlier, that LSU wouldn't win a natty under Brian Kelly, which I'm really not that mad about that one, Pooh Bear, because you know what? An opinion's an opinion. But when you start taking shots, let's look back at the coaches that won natties at LSU since 2003. Nick Saban, we all know who he is. Next guy that would win one and get to another one was Les Miles, who ate grass on the sidelines. Please, someone justify to me how you can remotely say that Les Miles is and was a better coach than Brian Kelly. If you want to throw the title appearances, sounds good. Let's see what BK does at LSU. And then you talk about fit. You talked about fit in this clip. Let's talk about fit. What is Ed Orgeron? Where's he from? You know, the funny thing is Les Miles and Nick Saban came from the Midwest and won natties. Nick Saban wasn't Nick Saban before he came to LSU. Les wasn't Les Miles before he came to LSU. Ed Orgeron was 10-25 before he came to LSU. And you want to justify that those men are better than Brian Kelly. It's not a shot at Les Miles or Ed Orgeron. They're just not a better coach than Brian Kelly is. Let's get to the best part of all this. Because, you know, I did my investigations. Pooh Bear, in this business, you know what it's called. We did our research, right? You have a man in Brian Driscoll from Irish Breakdown who we're going to clip some of this stuff. But you have Brian Driscoll running out here saying that Marcus Freeman could potentially get Notre Dame to a natty. Buddy, first off, he's 0-1 in his head coaching career. 0-1. Well, Blake, he only had 30 days. Sounds good. Sounds good. Doesn't mean anything to me. Because what's he going to do week 1 against Ohio State? How are you going to give him enough time to get recruits in here? And by the way, like I mentioned earlier, this recruiting process for 2023 isn't over yet. Because you went from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6. You keep dropping down those rankings while LSU keeps climbing. The truth is, being a blue blood in college football means absolutely nothing when you kick that football off. It doesn't matter that you're from Michigan. It doesn't matter that you go to Ohio State. It doesn't matter that you go to Alabama. It doesn't matter if you go to Notre Dame. Who has the better players? Who has the better coaching? That is what wins you natties. Notre Dame does not and has not had the talent like the SEC has. So let's look at the national title winners since 2010 when Brian Kelly took over at Notre Dame. Auburn, Alabama twice, Florida State, Ohio State, Alabama, Clemson, LSU, Alabama, Georgia. The only team from the North is Ohio State. That means all of the other 120 teams in college football isn't doing what the South is doing. You want to be able to do things, you got to be able to recruit, not just at a good level, at an Alabama, Clemson, Georgia, LSU level. You can't do that, dog. Oh, and by the way, the transfer portal changes everything. It changes everything. With Notre Dame's high standards, guys like Greg Brooks, guys like Joe Fouché and others can't go to Notre Dame. It's going to be very hard for them to get for them to get transfer portal guys into their university. Brian Kelly can. Brian Kelly can. LSU's on a different level since 2000. You know, so many people give Nick Saban, and which he deserves a lot of high praise for what he did at LSU. A lot of people say that Nick Saban changed LSU, which is true. He was a part of that. You got to give credit to LSU as well for saying, you know what? If we do things financially in football like we did for Skip Bartman, this place is a freaking gold mine. Look at the talent that comes out of this state. A freaking gold mine. LSU made the decision to be great, not Nick Saban. They had to make him the highest paid coach in the country, the first college coach to ever make $1 million as a head coach in college football. You know who paid him? LSU. You're not doing, Notre Dame doesn't have the resources, it would appear, to do and want to do the things that LSU is doing and has done. Look it up. Because before you say Blake doesn't know what he's talking about, we did go and do it. You're not spending $50 million on facilities just to go practice in, just to go hang your helmet in. You're acting like this is something that Notre Dame deserves to be on a pedestal. Notre Dame doesn't deserve to be on a pedestal. The last time you won a natty was 1988. And you want to say LSU's a dumpster fire and Brian Kelly can't turn them around and get them back there. You were a dumpster fire. You sucked. As Kurt Angle's theme music in the WWE is, you sucked. You sucked. You sucked. And no one gave a shit. You crap on Brian Kelly when he turned your entire program and university around. I would love to see an article or a clip from Brian Driscoll in 2020 running out there and saying, fire Brian Kelly. Somebody go find it. I guarantee you, the man in 2020 that held Alabama to the closest game that they would play all season had no business whatsoever being fired. Notre Dame, you are on the level as LSU is. You're not on the level as the SEC. You won't be. You want to talk about your prestigious and your Notre Dame? When that ball kicks off, it doesn't mean shit who you are. The gold helmet and the three little letters across LSU's helmet doesn't mean shit when that ball gets kicked off. How can you go through all the players in Louisiana alone? You have two wide receivers that broke the NFL record. You know what's funny is if Brian Kelly goes 9-3 this year, it's more of an accomplishment than Notre Dame going 10-2, because the fourth or fifth worst teams that LSU will play this year, it's like Ole Miss and Florida. Who is the fourth and fifth worst teams that Notre Dame plays? Ohio State's bigger than you, and they're in the North, and they have struggles with being Alabama and LSU. Why is that? You certainly had enough talent to beat LSU in 2 bowl games. Let me end it here. We'll get to as many comments before TJ Pittinger comes on, and we start getting a preview of Florida State. I'm tired, guys, of LSU getting shit on by guys like Brian Driscoll, or Brian Kelly getting shit on like guys like Brian Driscoll. Like, who are you, bro? So when I come out here and say that Florida State is the biggest game on this schedule right now, as of today, it is. Because LSU's got to go out there and kick somebody's ass. Bitter. It's like a ex-girlfriend who can't get over you because you're laying the pipe down so damn good. Yeah, I said it. You won't even interview Brian Kelly during the you know what's crazy? These people have the audacity, meaning Brian Driscoll, I should say, and Notre Dame fans. They have the audacity to come out here and talk shit. When the Monte Te'o situation and documentary is unfolding on Netflix. He doesn't want to be there. Pooh Bear says, I don't know if we should pause that or not. That has laying the pipe has no pause game in it. None. Pooh Bear, Pooh Bear, I got to tell you, I'm pissed off. Poor TJ. He's going to be like, why is Blake so pissed off? Why is he so mad all the time? Take some Gramco, dude. That's what TJ's going to come in here and say. I already know it. Kristen says, this is my favorite Ruffino's rants I've heard so far. Keep firing them off. Yeah, Brian Driscoll has no, wasn't he a fired coach or something like that, his damn self? Tevin says, hey, Blake, hot take. Tony's catfish better than funeral chicken. Hey, bro, Pooh Bear, you're going to have to defend funeral chicken. Pooh Bear, I'm just going to tell you this, dog. As a South Louisiana man, give me fried fish before you give me fried chicken, dude. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I can't. Hey, man. I love fried fish. Dylan Allen says, I love Angry Blake. Well, as Boosie says, you want to talk shit, you want to run your mouth, you want some gangsters in front of your house. Hashtag Tony Montana. We'll set it off. So let's do this. Guys, for the love of God, I'm not a Florida State fan. You guys know. I hope they go out there and beat the shit out of Duquesne so we have a really, really good game in the Dome next week. Oh! I hope I'm doing that right. That'd be pretty cool to sit in their stadium and hear that. That'd be pretty cool. So let's talk about Florida State. How is their camp going? What does TJ see in them moving forward this week? So let's get into that. But I do need to chill and relax. I need to go get some Gramco. Let's talk about our good friends over at Gramco, thegramco.com. Guys, remember, when you check out, so many of you say, Blake, I got Gramco, but you're not using the promo code. Use that promo code AYS25. Remember, Mark McGuire, 25. All right, let's talk about him. We'll be back literally in 1 minute with my good buddy TJ talking some Florida State. Guys, I've got to talk to you about our good friends over at Gramco. They are the Delta 8 company based out of the state of Florida. They're founded by college football junkies just like you and I am not sure if you're familiar with Delta 8, but you need to be. Gramco is the absolute leader in this field, and they have phenomenal products that I just need to tell you about. First off is the Wake and Bake coffee that is absolutely spectacular. The gummies are as well, as they're the best in the market. So go to thegramco.com right now and use the promo code AYS25. That's thegramco.com, AYS25 promo code to get 25% off of your order. Jump on this fast as it is perfect for holidays, anniversaries, and everyday use. Gramco is hemp-derived and completely legal inside of the state of Louisiana. No medical card is needed, and shipping is very discreet. You must be 21 years older to order. Again, that's thegramco.com. Use that promo code AYS25. We're back. Our good buddy TJ Pittinger from Double Fries No Slaw is joining us. He covers the Florida State Seminoles. We'll let you know where you can catch all the stuff. Buddy, what's up? It's Florida State game week. Are you fired up?
Game week, yeah. We're out of camp, man. I know you guys are still in your last week of camp, but we're out. We're in game week. We've had depth charts come out. So yeah, I mean, we're ready to go, man. I'll be what is today? Wednesday. So, a little over 48 hours. I'll be on the road for Tallahassee. So should be fun, man. I'm excited.
So how has camp gone so far for the Seminoles? I know the last time we talked, you had some question marks offensively and on the back end defensively. Let's start off on the offense first. How are things progressing there under Mike Norvell?
Yeah, so at quarterback, it seems like Jordan Travis has had his best camp yet. And, you try to take everything you can from coach talk and try and siphon that down a little bit. But from everything we're hearing, from everything we're seeing, from people that I've talked with inside of the program, the hype is real. And Jordan Travis is, 2 years ago known as a run-first guy, and you get by with what you can as a passer. A little bit better as a passer last year, and supposedly he's taking another step forward. And I don't think he's taking a Joe Burrow step forward. I don't think there's anything like that. But I do think they're saying, the guy can make legit throws. The guy can actually stand in the pocket and get some stuff done. He did it at times last year. If you remember back to the Miami game, he stood up and he had a nice game, both running and passing. They're just saying he's doing it more consistently now. There's not great play. Oh, okay, boneheaded, terrible play. So has absolutely taken the room by control. Probably not having a guy like McKenzie Milton looking over his shoulder and the QB controversy there has helped him. But yeah, they say that Jordan Travis is the real deal, and there's a lot of excitement around him.
TJ, let me ask you this. Does Mike Norvell calling plays again, do you think that gives him maybe a little bit more confidence? Because Mike's a really good play caller. I don't think anybody will debate that part, right? Do you think that the offense so far in camp is doing so much better because he's calling plays?
I think there's maybe an aspect of that, but I think the bigger part of it is they finally have athletes that are good, right? Like last year, going into the season, going into the season, David Hale ranked Florida State's wide receivers 14 out of 14. And Florida State fans, as you know, just absolutely lit into him. And how could you rank us last in the conference? And the ACC is not good anyway. And so how could we be so far down? And then by week 4 or 5, people were apologizing to David Hale and saying hey, you were right. If you could have gone a little lower than 14, you probably should have. So there's actual talent now out at wideout. The offensive line is better. The running back room is there's more depth there. And so I think that is a bigger reason why Jordan Travis looks better. He has guys that can go up and win one-on-one battles now. He has an offensive line that's not just terrible in 2 or 3 spots. And so I think Mike calling plays is helpful, but I think Kenny was a decent play caller, and so I think, but it has more to do with just the talent at every position has increased.
The last time we spoke, TJ, on our show, you had talked about some concerns along the offensive line. Now that y'all are out of camp and you're in game week, how has that position group started to shake out?
Yeah, so I'd say there are some concerns. So again, I don't know how in depth with it your listeners are, but I'll talk about this. Caden Lyles, transfer from Wisconsin, probably wasn't going to win the job, but he went down with a season-ending injury. Actually spoke with him last night, and he is sticking around the program, which is, commendable, and a fifth-year senior not going actually from Wisconsin. So hats off to him for sticking around the program and trying to be there as a mentor for some of the young guys and bring them up. But he was probably your backup center. He went down. And then Maurice Smith, the guy that's probably going to win that job, is also a little bit banged up right now. He's not listed on the depth chart for Duquesne. I've heard some rumblings that they think they can get him back for the LSU game. We'll kind of see if he's there, if he's not. The guy that's starting is a kid by the name last name Washington. He's played all 5 spots on the offensive line. He's got starting experience. He's, you never want to go into any kind of season with your third option at center, the guy that touches the ball literally every play. But I think it's a kid that they're confident in being able to do very well against Duquesne just because of the level of talent. And then if he had to play against LSU, I think they feel pretty good about that. We took a transfer out of the FCS level, a kid named Bless Harris, who is going to be the right tackle this year from all reports. That has allowed Washington to slide over to center. And I don't think they were expecting to get as much out of Bless Harris. And so, yeah, I think the offensive line, I wouldn't call it a strength of the team. I think that if the offensive line is considered average at the end of the year, that will have been a good year for Florida State with how bad the offensive line has been year after year after year. But I think it's a group that they are pretty comfortable with. They're confident in. There's a lot of depth there. You're able to sustain a couple of injuries, one season ending, one couple week type thing, and not panic. Last year, those 2 injuries happened.
You're in deep trouble.
Season's over. Yeah, we already started 0-4, so I guess how much worse can it get? But last year, those injuries would have been like, dude, just can we fast forward a season type thing? Not quite the same this year.
So on the offensive side of the ball, is there anything that you want to see? Like, look, I think that you and our listeners, and we all know that there's a pretty high likelihood that you guys will beat Duquesne. But is there something that you're looking for specifically, or are you just going to take it all in?
Yeah, it's tough because when the level of opponent is so bad,
right,
it's hard to really glean anything from it. Florida State lost to Jacksonville State last year, and I get that. But then they beat UMass later in the year, 59-3. And I've talked with a couple of handicappers, and I think UMass would be favored against Duquesne. So, that's just the level of opponent. Like, you're not playing a Jacksonville State that could maybe have a chance. Like, for Florida State, if Florida State lost this game, right, like Mike Norvell would get fired the next day. Like, it's that bad of a loss. Like, this would be 50 times worse than Jacksonville. Jacksonville State would beat this team by 20, right? Like, it wouldn't even be close. And so, all that said, like, it's really hard to glean a lot. I mean, you just want to really get out injury free. I think you want to see I want to see the backups play by halftime. Like, I think when you play a bad team like this, you just need to go out and demolish them. I think you're just going to kill them on the point of attack and just run the crap out of the ball. I wouldn't do much through the air during this game. I mean, they'll pass the ball, but I would just run the heck out of the ball. Get out of there. It's supposed to be, I mean, it's storming right now outside my window, but it's supposed to be wet and rainy and everything else. So I think honestly, just get out healthy. Win by 40, win by 50, and get out healthy.
No, it's going to be raining in the South. Who would have?
First week, I just can't wait for the delay. I already know that they're delaying that kickoff, so just already looking at who else is playing at the same time as we're scheduled.
Hey, man, I ain't got shit to do. I'm going to be sitting there waiting along with you because I want to watch it too. TJ Pittinger is our guest. We'll let you know where you can catch all of his stuff. I know that we've had some very spirited Twitter spaces, Florida State Twitter spaces, and so we'll let you know when you catch those too. TJ, let's move over to the defensive side of the ball. I said this the last time, and I've been kind of monitoring what's going on with you guys during camp. I know that Jermaine Johnson's not going to be there, but you guys do have some talent along that defensive line. How has that progressed so far this camp, and what do you think from that unit?
Yeah, I think they're going to be. I think the defensive tackles on this team are going to, like, if you ask me right now, okay, so in 12 weeks, or I guess 14 with a couple of buys, in 14 weeks, which unit will have been the best? It'll be our defensive tackles. They are the best group in the conference. I'll put them up against Clemson's. That doesn't scare me at all. The defensive tackles in Fabian Lovett and Robert Cooper both would be on NFL rosters right now. And I say that because it's preseason, right? Like, I don't know that they both would be on a roster in 3 weeks, but they would both be on NFL rosters right now. And so, and with a good chance to, make a roster as well, and they both came back. Money year for both of them. Fable may have gotten drafted last year. I don't know if Robert would have or not, but Fable probably would have gotten drafted, like a 6th or 7th round guy. So money year for both of them. They're both looking at getting drafted well in the NFL next year if they come in and perform. So our defensive tackles will be great. You do obviously lose the superstar in Jermaine Johnson. And you also lose Kier Thomas, who's out there playing with the Rams as well. And so, but what they brought in a kid named Jared Verse out of Albany, the number 1 ranked transfer according to most sites out there. You bring in the best edge rusher that was available in the transfer market. And then you have some guys that you're really confident in, a kid named Dennis Briggs, a kid named Derek McClendon, and you've got other talent there. I think the defensive line is very deep. I think that they're very balanced. Last year, it was very much Jermaine doing something absurd or nothing was happening. Right. We were very good against the run last year. We talked a lot about that. We held teams down very well in the running game with Fabo and Coop there in the middle. And so I think they'll be very balanced. I think there will be a lot of up the middle pressure, right? You're so used to edge pressure from a Jermaine Johnson or, Javon Curse or just whoever, right? Like your all-star guys like that. But I think there will be a lot more balance, a lot more up the middle pressure. They will stuff the run well this season. And I think that defensive line will be very, very good this year.
You talked about the back end the last time that you were a little skeptical about them. I think we spent a lot of time on that unit. How are you feeling now about the back end?
Yeah, so I think our safeties are the best out there. Jamie Robinson, best out there in, either in the state or the conference or kind of however you want to put that. So I think our safeties are really, really good. Akeem Dent, Jamie Robinson. Jamie Robinson could play himself into like the second round this year, listed as a preseason All-American, right? And I think second team. He's on every award watch list that there is. He is really, really good. He's also a guy that probably would be on an NFL roster this week and probably would make a team, but wanted to come back and instead of being a 5th or 6th round pick, wants to be a 2nd or 3rd, right? And so Jamie's great. He's absolutely phenomenal. Akeem Dent is another guy out of West Palm Beach. South Florida kids are just freaks and really good. So I love our safeties. I'd say cornerback is the position that worries me the most. I don't know that I would call it a concern at this point, but it's the position I'm the most concerned about, right? It's the one that hasn't solidified itself the most, right? And so Omarion Cooper is your starter, your number 1, your kind of lockdown guy. I'm sure that he'll be, the guy that's got to shadow you guys is, miracle worker out there on the edge. But I feel good about him. I mean, I don't feel good about, very many corners in a one-on-one matchup with him, but I think he'll do fairly well. But I do worry about like this is our second guy. Does the nickel, like kind of cover what he's supposed to? I think Duke will do, Omarion, they call him Duke Cooper. I think he'll do a decent job. I mean, you cover a guy like, you guys have, and that's not always, you're going to lose some battles there, and that's fine. But I worry about the 2nd, the 3rd, the 4th level of that cornerback and who kind of makes it out of that as your second stringer, your nickel guy, and things like that.
So TJ, there's so many different ways we can go here. So I'm going to just ask this one. Do you think that the team might look ahead towards LSU? Do you have any worries about that? Or, I was thinking about this today, Mike Norvell doesn't really I know that it's Duquesne, but sometimes, man, you got to go out there and make big splashes, right? Like you got to put some points up to get kind of the confidence of the team even going. Do you think that they could look forward to that game, or do you think that they're just really ready to play this week?
Yeah, maybe a mix of both, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's any way that you could not be thinking about LSU in this game. But I will say what's good for FSU is that they returned the 11th most production in college football this year. So 85 guys on the roster, right? Brought in a class of 20, brought in 7 or 8 transfers. Like 60 of the guys on the roster were there to lose to Jacksonville State last year, right? Like they know what can happen if you look ahead or if your mind is not there in that game. So any other year, I'd say, I mean, you got a massive matchup coming up against New Orleans or in New Orleans against the Tigers. Last year, like I said, 85% of the roster was there to suffer that heartbreak against Jacksonville State. And then when they got another opportunity later in the year, they beat a UMass team 59-3. And so that's kind of what I expect is just an absolute beatdown because they have already tasted that awful, awful pill that we had to swallow last year.
Right.
So yeah, but I do think they'll be looking ahead. I mean, I think, it's like anything else. You have 2 meetings one day and the second one's more important. Like you still try and close the first meeting, But you know that about halfway through, once you're up 42-0 at halftime, then you can get your starters out and think about it the whole next half.
Very much the case. Okay,
No.
2 more, and we're getting you out of here because I know you have a brand new baby. You got a long week.
He's asleep, man. He's fine.
Okay. Well, look, I'm not trying to
For
make
this minute, he's asleep. Oh yeah, I'm sure I got projects I could get to tonight.
Right. Well, and some whiskey projects. Have you
Oh,
tried,
wow.
you have a bourbon you haven't tried yet. By the way, my wife, I'm not a big like flavor bourbon kind of guy.
No, same.
I tried Screwball and they made it for me. The Screwball bourbon.
Like
It was okay.
So
Really
sweet for
heavy.
me.
Really heavy.
Yeah. It's like motor oil. It's like sweet motor oil. It's so thick.
Okay,
I'm like, calm down.
I'm going to tell you something. It ain't that good. Like you got,
Nah,
I feel like, jingle bells all the way should be doing when I'm drinking some of that. Just throwing that out there. just me. I feel like I'm drinking eggnog. It's honestly what
classic.
I feel like. So TJ, y'all are doing a tailgate.
We are.
Okay. In New Orleans. Tell everybody what's going on, what they need to do, and all of that stuff to all of our listeners and LSU fans.
Yeah, so we're doing a tailgate. It's 2 blocks from the stadium. We're doing it with Double Fries No Slaw, the roll-up network that we're a part of. You guys are welcome to come. I know that you're not in Baton Rouge, so it's not like you have the long-standing tradition of where you're tailgating and where you're hanging out for the game. So if you need a place to come tailgate, we're going to have all you can eat, all you can drink, shade, private bathrooms. We've got a DJ out there. We're going to be shooting a lot of content. I've got some former FSU players stopping by. I don't really have any contacts with LSU guys, so sorry about that. But you guys are welcome to come hang out. We encourage the trash talk. We encourage, we're not fighting out there.
Trash talk,
Nobody
correct.
come out and fight, or I'll get Blake on you. But and Blake's a lot bigger than anybody listening, I promise. And if he's not, he'll still whip you. So, but yeah, like we're happy to have you. Tickets are $50, but again, you're 2 blocks from the stadium, shade, private bathrooms, all you can eat, all you can drink. We're going to have a great time. The shade alone is probably worth it, but that also doubles as a shield if it does rain. So again, I think it's the place to be before the game. If you need any information, you can shoot me a DM on Twitter. It's TJ_Pittinger. It's if you go to rollupnetwork.com and then just click on merch, it's the first thing right there with the ticket. And I think there's even a code. If you enter AYS20, you get in. If you heard about it on this show, my people better not be listening to this. If you order from Florida, I'm canceling your order. AYS20 will save you 20% on the ticket. So I guess it's only $40 if you're an LSU person. We give Blake a little hookup there.
I'm probably going to buy 5 of them, or 3 or 4, or maybe 4 of them, and I'm going to give them away. So there we go.
Yeah,
I didn't tell you that. We're going to do that. We're going to buy 4 of them and give them away. How about that?
That'll be fun, man. We need, as you know from the spaces, we need some LSU fans in there in the tailgate to hang out with us.
Let's make sure that they're there earlier in the evening, because once noon hits and that Louisiana comes out of them, it's not pretty.
Yeah, no, that's trouble time.
All right, TJ, we're going to be watching the Florida State versus Duquesne. It's going to be really fun, man. Really and truthfully, TJ, it's just, I'm glad college football is back, man. I mean, it's so fun. So my brother, we'll see you again soon. Thank you for the update, and we will see you next week.
Yeah, can't wait, man. Should be fun. You guys enjoy the bye week. Stay healthy in camp. Camp injuries are the worst. But we'll see you guys next week, man. Go Noles, though. I got to say that. I liked your shot, by the way. You were good. You were really good. I'm going to record that and put it. If we find a way to win this game, bro, that's going all over. So
okay,
you're a winner either way.
Very, very quickly. Okay, very quickly.
You did well.
So my son likes listening to the LSU pregame band, like marching band stuff. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Well, sometimes it's just on like college football band shuffle. Like he loves the HBCU in Baton Rouge Southern and loves it. Like can't get enough of it. Well, the war chant from Florida State went on.
Oh,
Daddy again,
goodness.
Daddy again.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to hear it anymore.
No, okay. Listen, I hope none of my people are listening to this because I'll get canceled. My kids did the same thing. That I'd never played it for them. We had like a 30-minute car ride home. We went and got a haircut or something, and it was like 30 minutes away. So we're riding home, and I played it one time. I was like, "Hey, baby, this is the Seminoles." We got the little thing in the car where they can see the logo or whatever there on the screen.
Right.
It's a minute-long song. We listened to it 30 times on our 30-minute drive home. I don't want to hear it anymore either. No, I'll be jacked about it on Saturday, but I don't want to hear it anymore either. Like, I'm good. I'm good until it's played in the stadium, bro.
Yeah, at some point, I told my wife I just got to go in here and start listening to Mo Bamba. Like, I gotta get out of this, like
anything but this.
All right, I love it. All right, buddy, we will see you next week at the latest. No, but I'm looking forward to it, man. We'll see you soon.
Appreciate it, buddy.
All right, that's TJ Pittinger. Always fantastic. I'm going to be buying 4 tickets from them. If you want to tailgate, we're giving them for free. I'm not making you pay them, but we're going to pay them from AYS side to all of you that will be out there doing the tailgating stuff. So if you're out there, you're going to be tailgating, hit us up. It's going to be on AYS, but you know what I'm going to ask you to do after we give you that. You're going to have to share the next week's show, every show the following week. You got to do that for a player. Okay, we're going to wrap the show up, but we got to pay some bills around this thing. Pooh Bear is going to be joining us, our producer, to close this thing out. But let's talk about our good friend Carol Foss over at State Farm and our good friends over the Drake Williams Law Firm, drakewilliamslawfirm.com. Let them know that your good friend Blake Ruffino sent you on by. Guys, you might know my good friend Carol Foss and all the great service that he provides over at State Farm. He is your good neighbor after all. But did you know State Farm has surprisingly great rates as well? Along with the great neighbor service, State Farm agent Carol Foss has surprisingly great rates for everyone inside the state of Louisiana. So call him today at 985-395-4300, 985-395-4300 for all of those surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life insurance needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there, and individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to the State Farm underwriting requirements. By the Drake Williams Law Firm, drakewilliamslawfirm.com. Whether you've been injured in an accident, you're preparing for a future with your estate planning, you're getting ready to close in on a real estate deal, or you're about to welcome a new addition through adoption into your family, or you're facing criminal charges, you need very experienced attorneys, and that is what the Drake Williams Law Firm will be able to do for you in navigating the legal system. The door to their cozy office in historic downtown Ponchatoula has been open since 1981. They have helped thousands and thousands of Louisiana families and individuals win cases, close on real estate deals, and regain that peace of mind. Their lawyers over at the Drake Williams Law Firm, Ernie Drake III, Ryan J. Williams, and Summer Vignair, are very determined, compassionate, and dedicated to their craft. It's the Drake Williams Law Firm, drakewilliamslawfirm.com. Give them a call today at 985-386-7600. Tell them your good friend Blake Ruffino at AYS sent you on by. Pooh Bear, did you like? Your mic is muted. What you shaking your head for? What's wrong? What happened? Can't hear you.
No, I knew you were going to come in and I guess I kind of pre-guessed what you were going to ask. But go ahead, ask your question. Then I'll shake my head.
What I was actually going to say before you started judging me, I was going to start singing Mo Bamba, like I got hoes calling. I can't say the rest.
Like my Mo, yeah.
Phones. Anyway, bro, I gotta be honest. I can't get Mo Bamba out of my head today. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but nevertheless, I can't. Dane Bergeron sends us $10 via Super Chat. He says, give him hell, Blake. Fried fish over fried chicken any day. Pooh Bear, how bad do you think this take is?
Let me say this. I'm not going to disagree with it.
Okay.
Being away from the Gulf Coast, I severely miss fried fish. Good fried fish. It just so happens I get funeral chicken a lot more often than I get that funeral fish. So it's not a bad taste.
So as a man from the 251 who's made his way up a little bit more north, do you miss the seafood? Do you miss?
Oh, I miss it. I miss it so
much.
It is. I had crawfish one time up here. I think they were pre-dusted, and it yeah. Oh, we got another super chat, and I'm sorry I didn't get this up earlier. It's from Jordan. 499 says, love you, Blake. Thanks for swinging that bat for us. And then also thank you, Jason, for the Facebook stars.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Pooh Bear, I do appreciate everybody that sends us those. It's very much appreciated. So what I do with the super chats, just so everybody knows, I think I told Pooh Bear this. When y'all send us the super chats, all I do is do what I did with TJ. I buy stuff and give it back to you. That's literally all I do. You know, like I try to give it back. Chris English keeps calling people clowns.
I think he was talking about TJ. Yeah. But.
Well, he said all. So, Chris, I don't know. You know, let me say this because Bryan Driscoll called me a clown today. Pooh Bear, am I crazy to believe that when you get called a clown, that's fighting words, right?
It can be. It can be. I saw Rico asked earlier. He was like, "Why did I get put in timeout?" Then you came.
I'm not doing that.
No. Yeah, no. I didn't put him in. I didn't put in timeout earlier, but then I just put him in timeout because he came out, started talking about. He started talking about John Emery's IQ is his jersey numbers his same as his IQ and stuff like that. I'm not going to tolerate that kind of stuff. I'm just not. You're not going to disrespect the kids.
Well, look, ban him. Yeah. Ban Rico.
Yeah. Get your burner ready, Rico.
Yeah. I don't really care for whoever, you know.
Today's been a trying day. I don't know why people are trying LSU and LSU fans, but hey, you know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I know one thing though. I'll throw hands behind BK though right now.
Yeah,
look, Pooh, this is just me. I'll throw hands behind LSU. I will, bro. I'm tired of the bullshit. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of all of just the small shit that keeps going on. You know, like you don't have to say that. Look, bro, he looks like Fred Flintstone with glasses.
I was thinking Peter Griffin, but go ahead, continue.
I'm cool with it. Pot belly and everything. See, dog, here's the one thing. Here's the one thing that I hate about the world. Mm-hmm. Okay? If you ain't gonna say it to my face, don't say that shit on Twitter because I'll say that shit to your face quick, fast, and in a minute. I ain't scared to get knocked out. Been knocked out before. Don't face me one goddamn bit. I'm just letting it be known. Knocked out people, been knocked out. Don't face me at all. You want to talk that shit? You want to run your mouth? I ain't about that. Just letting it be known. Yeah. I know I ain't putting words in your mouth, but I'm just gonna let it be known from me.
Yeah.
So anyway, all right. I'm sorry, bro, but that kind of shit makes me emotional. At least that's what he said.
Yeah. So I get it. I get it. It's and I know some people are like, hey, it's sports, you know, stuff like that. And you're right. Some things people are passionate about.
Rico's getting banned. See you, bitch. I ain't putting up with this. I ain't putting up with Rico. See ya.
Yeah.
All right. Pooh Bear. We out. Tigerbait.com, Tigers Baits. Oh my God. Mike Scarborough doing a show at 8:00. So y'all go tune over there. Tell Mike Scarborough that Blake Ruffino and Pooh Bear sent you on by. But until then, guys, y'all have a good night. Peace out, Girl Scouts. Not to you, Bryan Driscoll, you Rudy.